Hi everyone, today I will be exploring the question of how do people form connections and communities through social media? Through the exploration of fan culture within a global fantasy fandom and how social media platforms like TikTok have enabled this culture to develop into practices such as fan fiction and fan binding. My question for this presentation will be, how do social media affordances impact the formation of communities? My answer to this question is that social media affordances enable communities to form, fans to develop fan fiction and fan binding, and for those communities to grow through the technology that enables such participation. To answer this question, we must first discuss the concept of social media affordances. Social media affordances are the features of social media platforms that enable users to connect and interact online. Examples of these affordances include visibility, persistence, platform scalability, and the use of algorithms to curate the context each user sees. Platforms like TikTok include affordances such as the For You page, which recommends content to users based on their behavior on the platform. Authors Carr and Hayes state that social media platforms are not passive tools for sharing information between individuals online. The platforms actively structure the communication between those individuals, thus their influence upon the formation of communities online. Author Dana Boyd discussed the concept of networked publics. Boyd stated in her seminal text that social media platforms enable individuals to form networks and communities based on the context they share and on others becoming visible to those who share it online. Platforms like TikTok enable individuals to form communities through hashtags, trends, and algorithmic recommendations of user content to other users. Thus, individuals from around the world can connect through social media by interacting with the same content. Fan culture is one of the cornerstones of social media communities today. Authors like Jenkins have written extensively about how fans of content do not passively watch the content that they love. Instead, fans often create their own content to share with others in their online communities. Examples of this include creating fan fiction and editing videos by other fan creators. Authors like Zhang have discussed fan communities as quote unquote fandom publics, communities that share an interest in the same content and fandom online. Thus, the practice of writing fan fiction enables fans to connect with others in their communities and share a common culture. Beyond simply participating in the content that defines their communities, fans also develop emotional connections to it. Authors like Papa Sharasky have written about the concept of affective publics, which are communities formed around the content that elicits emotions from its members, thus encouraging their continued participation in those communities and their content. Platforms like TikTok also utilize publics within their platforms, such as author Gilberto's concept of clustered publics, communities of fans with similar interests to the content that they follow and create. Additionally, authors Zulu and Zulu state that many social media platforms enable the formation of imitation publics, in which users often create content similar to the creators they follow online. These content elements can include practices such as creating fan fiction within the same tropes as other fans or fan binding. On TikTok, for instance, The practice of fan fiction has led to the creation of channels whose fans share recommendations on how to write fan fiction, create edits, and share these stories online to encourage interactions from others with the same interests. Many of the comments on these videos discuss the fan fiction stories, share hashtags to increase visibility, and even call for others to begin writing their own fan fiction. Thus, TikTok enabled the formation of interactive communities of fans with shared interests, allowing them to share content that binds them together.
Professor? Is this all real? Or is it just happening inside my head?
Of course it's happening inside your head, Harry. Why should that mean that it's not real?
He's not Fred, I am. Honestly, woman, you call yourself our mother.
I'm Hermione Granger.
Ron Measley.
Ready, fresh, ready, George. Bottoms up.
Harry!
That was not funny.
Training for the ballet, Potter. Gryffindor wins!
Happiness to be found, even in the darkest of times. If one only remembers to turn on the light.
One of the main ways fans form connections and develop communities on TikTok is through writing and sharing fan fiction. By sharing fan fiction, fans express their creativity within their online communities. Additionally, fans share their interests in these fandoms and the content within them with others in their communities, enabling those communities to continue to exist. Furthermore, the data stored and shared with platforms like TikTok enable these fan fiction communities to remain persistent and to foster connections among their members. Thus, fan fiction has become a primary way for fans to form communities on social media platforms. One of the most prevalent examples of this fan practice is that fan fiction stories online have become published novels. Not only have the fan fiction remained online and shared among fans, but others have also published these stories as physical books that can be read by fans with an interest in those same stories. Thus, social media enables these fan fiction communities to become published authors, gain notability, and form communities around their stories. People can form connections and communities on social media through specific actions and practices. These communities can develop through interactions with content, participating in practices such as creating content and leaving comments, and using the features of social media platforms. However, these communities are not formed without influence from social media and its features. Social media platforms have numerous affordances that enable communities to form, especially their own use of algorithms. Thus, fan communities have been formed not only through simple connections among fans with shared interests, but also through their participation in platforms and the technologies that enable those practices.